So the question that I had in mind is today's people, today's new generation, are they more lazy than the previous generation? And to be honest, when I think about this question, I think in many ways, yes, today's generation is definitely a lot lazier than the previous generation. I mean, we have so much technology at our fingertips, so much knowledge at our fingertips, and people from previous generations would have killed for this level of knowledge, would have killed for this access. And I think that in many ways, our generation, the newer generation, is taking a lot of what's available for granted. I definitely do. And what does that mean? How does that translate to being lazy? Well, I think that if if the previous generation had the tools that we had in our hands, they would be running with it because back in the day, even I can remember when I was a kid, like I had to go to the library and look up actual physical books to look at all of the world's history, and it would take me hours to find out information. Now it's just a simple tap in a Google search, and you've got everything that you've ever wanted to know about anything, really. So my thinking is that I would think that most people who recognize this, most people who recognize that we do have way more access than we used to have, would take these resources and use it to their utmost advantage. But that's not happening. In many ways, I think that the technology that we have is unfortunately being used just for entertainment, unfortunately being used to pass time instead of using it as something that's extremely productive and helpful for their future. I mean, look at what I'm doing right now, right? I am creating content, I'm speaking into the camera, I'm speaking to the audience, and I'm using the advent of YouTube, YouTube being a free application in order to promote myself, my ideas, my thoughts, and my brand, essentially, right? Just 30 years ago, companies would have to pay millions for the amount of eyes that YouTube or the internet reaches. So, you know, not only with that, I feel like a lot of our generation feels very entitled. Um, for most of human history, people have had to work extremely hard, and now people still work extremely hard, right? People still work extremely hard all around the world, all around in this country. But just to stay on the topic of the Western world, America, large parts of Europe, etc. Um, there are many ways there are many ways now that you can use different tools in order to make an exorbitant amount of money and be extremely successful without having to break the bank, without having to break your back. And unfortunately, a lot of people in our generation just look at it as just normal life, and this is something that is supposed to be here. And in order for them to make it, they don't have to work. They feel as though they should just be having the leisures of life without having any sacrifice. And I think that a lot of the previous generation, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of the lessons that were taught about having grit, that were taught about working hard, that were taught about putting in and getting what you put in. A lot of those lessons are lost on the new generation, and that's sad because, like all of history, the people who came into the world first, the people who build the society will eventually be gone, and it'll be our responsibility in order to move the society forward. And if we have less and less people who are willing to work hard, who are capable and skillful and innovative, that's not going to be good for the advancement of society. So, in conclusion, I think that it would be a lot better for us to just look at all the advantages that we do have and apply it very seriously and very diligently to advance our lives, which will in turn advance the lives of the ones that come behind us, and make the world such that we have a lot more eases in life and we don't have as much suffering and we don't have as many issues as we do have now, because a lot of what's invented can can really help us, can really help you, and don't even take it on just a macro level about helping the world and all this. No, think about your life, right? Think about how it can help you in your situation. And once you think about that, you'll look, I would hope, I would hope that you'll be able to see the light and say, all right, all of these luxuries around me, I need to use it to my advantage and make my life better. That's it. All right. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think about that. Let me know what I may have missed and your input, how I can elaborate. And I would love to see your comments. All right. Peace.